In this video, I will focus on 3 tricks and tips. 2 of them your instructors probably want you to know. The third one, it's a little sneaky, so I'm going to save that one for the end. The first trick is to make sure you read the exam all the way through, because it is very common for one question to hide the answer to another question. For example, I pulled up a random chemistry test online, and I see the following 2 questions. The first one says, the number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is known as the... and then you fill in the blank. A later question asks, the center or core of an atom is called the... and again, you would fill in the blank. What's important to note here is that the answer to the second question is nucleus. So even if you forget the word nucleus, the fact that it is in the exam gives you at least a hope of being able to answer the question. So if all else fails, read through the exam for fill-in-the-blank things, for multiple choice things, pull answers that appear elsewhere in the exam. It could be you jog your memory, it could be you get lucky, or it could be you get unlucky, but either way you have a better chance than just guessing without any additional information. My second tip comes from Joelle Harris. I attended a workshop that she delivered. She's a professor of engineering at Georgia Institute of Technology, a delightful person. And her advice is to tell a story. When you read a question on an exam that requires an answer, that is a calculation of some value. Let's say you're asked to calculate the current through a resistor. Begin with the destination in mind. State at the very beginning, the very first thing you write there, state, this question is asking about the current through the resistor. The current is measured in amperes. Once you have your destination identified, state where you are now. List the facts that you have. And then identify different paths that you could take to get to your end destination. There could be lots of ways to get to the same answer. List a few of them. Then, pick the one that you feel is best. Might not be the fastest. Sometimes I do things slowly so I get them right. It may be the one you're comfortable with. That's okay. Once you have identified the starting place and the path to the destination, begin the journey. Process the facts through the equations or the algorithm to get to the final destination. Once you're at the final destination, state where you are. You have gone through a transformation. Celebrate that transformation by stating the transformation and comparing that to the transformation you stated you would go through. For example, if you were asked to calculate the current through a resistor, and in the end, you said the voltage is 5 volts. That would be concerning because volts, not current. Make sure your units are right. Make sure you actually answered the question. Laying out that story will help the person assessing your work understand where you went wrong, give you partial credit, and give you feedback for improvement. So the third tip that I have, this one is sneaky. Use it with caution. Be very careful. If you come across a question that requires you to do something you don't remember how to do, or use a tool that you don't remember how to use, you might occasionally rewrite the question. You could say something like, I don't quite understand what this question is asking. If it's asking what I think it's asking, it is looking for. Put down the question you'd like to answer. And then answer your own question. So, for example, let's say that I'm asking you to calculate the power consumed by a resistor. It could be that you don't remember the equation for power, but you do know how to calculate the voltage. You might say something like, this question is asking me to calculate the voltage. You'll notice I'm starting another story here, right? By saying that, you're reframing the question. The person assessing it may see that and say, yeah, they didn't understand the question properly, but they know what they're doing, so I'm going to give them most of the credit. Or they might look at it and say, they didn't answer the question. This one could go either way. But oftentimes, at least sometimes, you can get away with it and get most of the credit for a question. So those are the 3 tips and tricks I would like to give you now. I would like to invite you to visit us on the extended campus of Minnesota State University Mankato. I'm part of the Twin Cities Engineering Program, and I'd love to meet you. You're welcome to reach out to me anytime. The best way to reach out to me is my email here. Drop me a line and let's see what we can do together. Additionally, I would love to invite you into the IEEE. This is the Professional Engineering Society for Electrical Engineers.